Anime games have never had the greatest reputation among the bigger gaming community, but within the last 5 to 10 years, the reputation of these games has taken a huge nosedive. Jump Force had the spotlight and they blew it. Sparking Zero had potential, but instead of going on and on about how anime games are bad, which I've already done twice, what if I was to tell you that Arena Fighters peaked already all the way back in 2020 and nobody noticed? Let me introduce you to Gundam Max Boost, the greatest arena fighter ever created in the history of mankind. And I'll stand on that. This shit right here, bro, this shit right here is on a whole nother level. First of all, I want to say, Gundam Boost fans, I might not do this game justice because I was pretty casual and this is all from memory. I haven't played this game in like a year or two. So I'm going to try to be as precise as I can, but where do I start? Let's just talk about the roster. You thought Sparking Zero had a roster. They put every Gundam ever in the existence of Gundams in this video game. I think, probably. I lied, it's 184 Gundams across 30 different Gundam series. It's basically the Smash Ultimate for Gundam fans, but I don't know too much about Gundam. All I know is Gundam wins. And I know what you're thinking when you hear that character roster, but the craziest thing about this is they actually play differently. I think like 5 to 7 of them are clone characters, depending on what you count as a clone character. But yeah, majority of them play differently. That's a lot of gameplay. So we can agree that this roster is batshit insane. But what else about this game is good? Well, obviously there's the combat. How do I describe the combat? Like I said, it's been a while since I played this game, but you're basically trying to hit your opponent with the nothing personnel. Everything is about spacing in this game. You're basically trying to outmaneuver and outplay your opponent. Every single movement is cancelable. The catch is everything is controlled by this burst meter. If you want to do any sort of quick movement, whether it be dashing quickly or canceling some of your attacks, it takes from this meter, and you have to pretty much manage your meter, because if it goes empty, you're a sitting duck. So you're managing your movement, your dash cancels, while you're also trying to defeat your opponent with, like, if you're a ranged character, you're going to be shooting different missiles and laser cannons and stuff. If you're a melee character, you're hitting them with different melee combos. And everybody has a special, and they have a burst gauge. The burst gauge pretty much lets you go Super Saiyan. You have unlimited dashes and cancels, and I think you do a little more damage. And every Gundam is unique. Some people only have a couple of attacks that they can spam a lot. Some people have a ridiculous amount of attacks. It's very freeform how they create these characters. Not all equal, but the way this game works is basically it's a game where you're fighting either 1-on-1 or 2v2, and both teams have a health gauge that they share, and every time you die you take away from this health gauge, and you're trying to deplete the other team's health gauge to 0. The different Gundams take up different amount of health, so if you're choosing a poor Gundam, you're going to be able to respawn a lot more. If you're choosing a crazy souped up OP Gundam, you can only respawn a couple times. This is how they balance the game. And that's pretty much how I can remember how the game plays from memory. One thing that's really cool about this game is you can add any type of playlist you want. Like, you can import your own music into this game, which I think is pretty sweet. You can put anything from cringy anime music to gangsters 90 rap, whatever you're into. I'm not gonna lie, back when I played, long range zoning was the meta, which was very boring to me, and I tried to go against the grain and use a melee character. I had to do twice as much just to get the same amount of damage, but when you got it down, it was worth it. But that's neither here or there. I want to emphasize that a lot of Gundams had vastly different playstyles depending on which one you picked, at least from what I remember. Some Gundams, like a long range Gundam for example, would have a crazy amount of laser rifles, rocket launchers, missiles, while a less sleek Gundam might have a lot less attacks, like maybe 2 or 3 attacks. Then there's melee characters who might have a little pea shooter, but can do complex combos that go on for days, and they might have different button inputs that extend combos or do something different. I was casually playing, so I really didn't have the time to like examine everybody's moveset, but it was pretty overwhelming in a good way. The controls, from what I remember, felt extremely tight and fluid, and for a game with like 100 and so, almost 200 different characters, it felt unreasonably balanced. Like, again, I'm a casual, I don't know, but that's what it felt like. Also, a huge plus for this game. It's the only arena fighter that I can confidently say the wider fighting game community considers a competitive fighting game. Don't ask me why, I don't make the rules, that's just what I read online. That might not be a big deal to some people, but for a lot of enthusiasts, it is. I mean, it could also be a contributing factor that might actually hinder this game because you actually have to be good at this game. I'm sure there's some sort of exploits you can learn, but for the most part, you gotta learn a lot of skill and tech to be competent in this game. That's to say there's not like a busted character that will save you or one move that you can spam over and over that will get you up in the ranking board. It's straight skill in this game. And let's be real, a lot of people just play arena fighters because their favorite character is in the game and they just want to pretend they're their favorite character shooting the Kamehameha. They don't want to actually get good at the game. At least that's my opinion or thought. I'm not sure if that's true. That's just what I'm thinking. So yeah, the fact that you actually have to get good to be relevant online in this game, the fact that it's not a game about Goku or Luffy or Naruto are probably reasons that this game just simply isn't as popular as a lot of other arena fighters despite the quality. But another even crazier thing about this game is even if you're not into sweating online, this game actually has some decent single player content in my opinion. There's a special mission mode that acts as the story mode for this game. It's called Branch Battle. It's not really a story mode, but it's the single player content. Basically, you're going to take on certain missions and depending on your choices, you go on different branching storylines. And what's cool about this is it's actually couch co-op friendly. That's right, you can play this with another person on the same console. In 2025, that is amazing. A lot of fans say this is pretty much the tutorial before online, where you can like learn how to play the game. And I played a bit of it. It was pretty fun for me as a casual. I'm gonna be honest, I thought there was another single player mode, but I'm doing my research and apparently this was the only single player mode on console. So I must have hallucinated that, I don't know. But yeah, Branch Battle mode was pretty fun. Oh, and of course when it comes to online multiplayer, you had your usual casual ranks and custom matches. Well, customs aren't too common with arena fighters, sad to say. But yeah, you have custom matches. In my opinion, this is one of the most highly polished, best arena fighters ever made, and it's a shame that lots of people in the West don't know about this, who would otherwise love this game. If it was any other franchise, I'm sure it would blow up twice as big. But it is what it is. The crazy thing is, I'm not even good at this game, and I'm telling you, I had a blast playing this game. That's when you know a game is good, when you're ass and you still want to play it. But anyway, that's all I really got to say. I wish I could have done more of a deep dive in this game, but I do not have space on my console. What do you guys think? Gundam Max Boost players, is this game fire? Am I doing it justice? Is there anything else you want to add? I probably got some stuff wrong, so I don't mind if y'all correct me. It is what it is. Peace.